Coach Prime is changing college football forever. And we have seen this change step by step. But today marks a changing of the guard. Not that Colorado's a blue blood, but Colorado and the Buffaloes. Coach Prime, we're not a blue blood. We are a new blood. And we are entering a new era in college football, guys, with Julian Lewis committing to Colorado. I got a little bit of a monologue that I got to get off my chest. Again, a lot of credit to Coach Prime. I'll stick around, guys, for your comments here after I'm done. Again, shout out to Mark Bonds. I love getting on here, talking everything Colorado with you guys, talking everything Coach Prime. But looking back today, 5-star quarterback, Julian Lewis committing to the Colorado Buffaloes. And this is in the midst of, I think, a tumultuous 2 years with how the media has wanted to portray Coach Prime as somebody who's just in it for the daddy ball, in it to get his sons to the NFL, something like that. Somebody, mischaracterized, falsely characterized as somebody who's just all about himself, when anybody that talks about Coach Prime, that know him personally, portrays him and talks about him and somebody that's completely opposite in that fashion. And it's been great to see today, literally, all the haters silenced. I'm going to read you a text message from one of my good friends, Nick. You don't know him, but he's one of my great friends. Got this today. Just saw the CU news. The apology has got to be as loud as the disrespect was. I was completely wrong about Coach Prime Deion Sanders. What he has pulled off at CU is honestly incredible, especially since he's done this in less than 2 years. It took Texas a decade plus to get back to relevance. Nebraska still can't figure it out. Hard to see him going anywhere with how things are trending. It's super cool to see. Wow. I said, welcome to Buff Nation, Nick. Everybody's welcome. Join the bandwagon. This thing is a lot of fun. We want to enjoy it with as many people as possible, right? But I think what's so cool is that Coach Prime is changing how college football is done. And a lot of these college football old heads couldn't see it. They couldn't see the vision. And it's not to say that I haven't, perfectly seen the vision as well. There's been things that I think that I've wondered about, that I have questioned, of course. But at the end of the day, I've always been really excited about this when Coach Prime came over here. I think maybe personally for me, because I try and look at things from an outside the box perspective. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. If you guys don't know too much about me, before my time going to business school at CU, was very entrepreneurial. Ran a coffee stand for a couple of years with a good buddy of mine in West Texas. And I've had some other little ventures, but none of them have truly worked out, I guess, till this YouTube thing, which is funny enough. But Coach Prime, he's always been an entrepreneur at heart. Somebody, that is Coach Prime, rather, when he started to play college football. They're like, man, guys don't play both ways often. Then they said a guy like Deion Sanders couldn't do it in the NFL. You see him go and prove throughout his career that he can be somebody that can impact the game on all sides of the ball. Most notably, from what I remember, special teams, especially, man, with some of those returns, right? Thing of beauty. But you even saw him later in his career. I think he said today, played for 4 different baseball teams. He was playing baseball games and football games on the same weekend, same day. It's insane stuff. He has always been a trailblazer. He has always thought outside the box. He has always been somebody that has, in a good way, that has been stubborn enough to stick with his plan. rather than changing from what the media is saying or what others are saying. Like, he is convicted. That's probably a better adjective instead of stubborn. He operates with conviction. And, people have said, hey, you can't be building a football program how Coach Prime is doing it, right? Hey, it was one thing to do it at Jackson State, where, hey, a lot of these guys are looking for exposure and all this sorts of stuff. You've heard those sort of talking points. And I think that was true to an extent, right? But he has proven that his way truly does lead to winning football. Having a pro type atmosphere where you're bringing in guys that are expected to work, that are expected to be dedicated to their craft, where, hey, you only have a certain amount of practice hours throughout the week, but it's very clear that you are expected to put in hours outside of those practice hours, those allotments. And if you don't, you're not going to play. We've seen that, right? It's truly a pro style atmosphere to where we're only going to recruit you if we feel like you're actually good enough to play. Who cares about filling up 85 scholarship spots and bringing on another 30 walk-ons? It's more about the quality than it is the quantity. And then you've seen that with high school. People want to say that we didn't care about high school. The lack of high school recruiting was just because Coach Prime didn't take his job seriously, right? Which I didn't think that was the case. It was just he had a different way about going about things. He wanted to spend his time in different ways, and that ruffled a lot of feathers. That upset a lot of people, right? Especially the old heads. Paul Feinbaum, right? On 3, on D's nuts is rather what I want to call them now. All these places that cover college football, they couldn't see it. They were too deep in college football to see that building a program could be done another way. You can help players make their money, but also hold them accountable. And I think what's great about Coach Prime is that he's never been somebody who has wanted to assume somebody else's legacy. No. He has always wanted to build his own legacy, not following the footsteps of anybody else in their shadow. No. So as much as people wanted to say, hey, Coach Prime going to Alabama, right? Coach Prime going to Texas A&M. Well, they kind of suck, but I guess that's not a good example. Coach Prime going to Florida State, right? Nah, what does Coach Prime have the opportunity to do? Something that Nick Saban could never do. All respect to Nick Saban, the greatest. But Nick Saban never took over a 1-11 program that was G5 bound, and 2 years later had them on the verge of a college football playoff and bringing in 5 stars like crazy. No, this program was dead in the water. He was somebody that, instead of looking at our program like I thought they were 2 years ago, just absolutely dead in the water after we hired and fired Carl Durrell, feeling like our football program had little to no future at all. I was going to have to find, a team in college football to root for that wasn't G5 bound. And look, I got a degree from the university. I mean, that's what we were talking about, guys, And while 99% of other coaches would have overlooked this program that has the notoriety of Coach Prime, he looked at this place not as, excuse my language, but a shithole, but just a diamond in the rough that just needed some shine around it, right? He saw opportunity here. And credit to Rick George for taking a big swing. We definitely, what was it? Out through our coverage or something like that, we definitely hit out of our league, so to speak, by convincing Coach Prime to come out here. And he has been somebody who has truly been about the loyalty. He has stayed loyal, even when I'm sure he's had other opportunities pop up. And he doesn't have to do this, right? He doesn't have to do this. But this is something where I feel like being at Boulder, it really does bring his definitely like his coaching aspect of things, but also his entrepreneurial side to life even more. Like it's just a good synergy. It's a good relationship. And that's why, I mean, I hope that we see him stick around for a really long time. If it's a shorter time, sure, we're always going to be thankful. But I think this thing has got some momentum right now to where I'm just going to say it: dynasty, 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 dynasty. We are not a blue blood, we're a new blood. This is the new blood dynasty now. Colorado, right? The black and gold. We're a new blood. Okay. Do we have the most NIL in the world? No, no, no. But we got some things going in our direction that nobody else has going for them right now. Who else does things like put their players and commits on FS1 and ESPN and have all this other fanfare going on? You can dominate in the Big 12 and get drafted in the first round, first overall. That's what we're going to see this year, right? That's what we're going to see. And so I just really do feel like Coach Prime is at home. I think he's loving what's going on. And why leave at this point, like my friend Nick said, when you got the momentum? Texas is a blue blood brand, and it's taken them 10 plus years to get themselves back to relevancy. What he has done has been nothing short of incredible. And he's proving everybody who has doubted his methods of being transfer portal heavy and being a little bit lighter on the high school front, being very picky in the high school front. He's proven them wrong, that you can build a sustainable college football program with this method. I think some keys to that has been bringing in experienced coaches. Pat Shurmur was clearly a better fit for this program than Sean Lewis was. All respect to Sean Lewis, but I mean, Pat Shurmur's cooking with gas right now, baby. He took a Ferrari and he's got this thing making 34 points a game. It's beautiful. He saw somebody like Robert Livingston, somebody that's never been fired off of the Cincinnati Bengals in like 12 years or something crazy like that, and said, hey, you must be a bright mind to be held in the NFL by multiple regimes. Are you interested in being defensive coordinator? He has thought outside the box. He has considered other people to come out here and join him that other people have written off, such as Pat Shurmur. I wrote off Pat Shurmur, but it seems like Pat Shurmur, Coach Prime, and Robert Livingston, they're going to see this thing through together, I think, for at least the short term. Hopefully, at least the next few years. And we'll see where this thing can go. But I do believe that Julian Lewis is a huge domino that signals that, hey, Colorado's here to play. Colorado's here to compete with every single of these blue bloods moving forward, which is insane to talk about and say from where we were at 3 years ago. It's crazy. Or 2 years ago, rather. It's just insane. It's insane. I had one more thought that I wanted to share, but I don't know, guys. There's no reason to go when you've built up a 1-11 program. Why would you want to go build up another 1-11 program somewhere else that's going to give you a shorter leash? That didn't believe in you in the first place, or else they would have offered you a job. Rick George did. So let's see Coach Prime get that lifetime extension. Let's see him become the highest paid college football coach in the country. Let's see Rick George become the highest paid athletic director in the country, or at least the Big 12, something like that. Like, these guys have done a fantastic job, and credit to everybody for buying in. Again, credit to the university for getting out of the way, checking their ego, saying, what do we need? Not saying or approaching this relationship with what do we need to tolerate with Coach Prime. No, it's not been that energy. You know what it's been? What can we do as an administration and a program to empower Coach Prime to do his thing? We're not watching over his shoulder. We're not, tracking the time card, how he's punching his time on every single thing. No, he moves differently than somebody who is burning the midnight oil in the film room, right? I think he's burning the midnight oil, but it's in a quite different way. And I think that you are going to see college football change forever because of Coach Prime. And I think we're already starting to see some of, some little inklings of that change being made, because you have a school like Florida Atlantic that's saying, hey, why don't we consider Ray Lewis as head coach? I think that would be quite fun. I really do want to see it. Now, y'all can say Ray Lewis hasn't paid his dues. Coach Prime coached high school for years. He coached youth football for years. He coached at Jackson State for a few years. And that got him his power forward job. Ray Lewis is one of the greatest football players of all time, man. So I think you can say that in itself, or that on its own would earn somebody the right to be a college football coach. No doubt about it. I don't want to see that stuff coming out about Ray Lewis, about how he hasn't paid his dues. Stop it. I would love to see him get that opportunity. I think it would be really cool. But I digress, guys. This is a monumental day in college football. And Bama, they're about to see this horse, baby. Now we move on to Michael Carroll. Now we move on to Nathaniel Owuso-Boateng. Now we move on to London Merritt, Carday Smith. What is going on at USC? In shambles. I just got to say it. Anyways, guys, I'll get to a few of your comments. As a reminder, I do have a show with Colin Moore tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to talk all about it. I can't wait to hear his perspective on everything we saw go down today and what's ahead in the future. No doubt about it. So thank you guys again. I'll get to a few of your comments, and this won't be a super long live stream. I'm not going for an hour. Okay. So y'all be sure to smash that like, join the chat while you can. Okay. Again, Mark Bonds, thank you for the kind words. I love putting in the work here. You guys, there's a lot of great channels to talk Buffs with. So it means a lot that you would spend at least some of that time here with little old me. It means a lot. Brandon saying the Prime effect is real. Sold out stadiums, record-breaking viewership, and a complete program turnaround in just one season. Yes. And, this is what I did want to say. I talk about the 4 stages of a rebuild, right? You lose big, lose small, win big. We skipped the first stage with Coach Prime automatically. That in itself is huge. So we started out by losing small throughout most of the season last year, outside of 2 blowouts. Most of our other losses, they were just single-digit games. Now, we have started to win those tight games, right? North Dakota State, Baylor, right? But yes, we had that blowout against Nebraska. That was a one-off. Not to say that this is, it's a straight shot. There's not everything's super linear. There's going to be a little bit of ups and downs. But you guys understand what I'm saying is that we went from winning tight games earlier at the beginning of the year to now we're blowing teams out, even when we're not playing our best football. So we truly have gone to that final stage with the program right now in 2 years, which is faster than I had expected. Personally, faster than what I had expected. I expected us, I think I had us, 8-4? I originally had us 9-3. Me of little faith. But this is great. This is truly great. And I think that as long as the recruiting and the transfer portal continues to gain steam, even if we are starting a true freshman quarterback as Julian Lewis will be, and I do expect him to be the starter. We'll see what else happens. He's said he's going to come in here and compete, rightfully so. But I would expect that this is going to be a year in which, in 2025, in which we're still competing for a Big 12 championship. And it might be a transition year. But what do these blue bloods do in transition years? You saw it with Alabama last year. They were in a transition year. That's how a lot of people viewed it with Nick Saban, and they still made the college football playoff. It's crazy. So we're going to have a strong offensive line next year. It's going to be awesome. Hey, Coach Barry, thank you so much for the $10 super. Says a week ago, Carday Smith said he was genuinely torn between sticking with the Trojans or flipping to the Buffs. This was before Juju committed. Carde Smith is about to commit to CU. Watch and see. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I feel very good about him. We also have a 4-star commit guy since the summer, Chauncey Gooden, a 4-star guy from Tennessee that's going to be out here. And Phil Oldholt's killing the job. I think everybody on this staff right now is deserved raises. No doubt about it. So Cardi Smith, I feel very good about him. Let's see if we can make this thing really competitive with Michael Carroll, the number 1 guard in the country this year, currently committed to Alabama. The fact that we're in recruiting races with Ohio State, with Alabama, with USC, crazy. It's just insane. It is still surreal to me. I love it, but I'm feeling good. I don't know if we're going to get all these IMG guys, but as we should have learned so far following this thing, being fans of this thing, is that you can never dream too big, right? Always expect the unexpected, right? Think a little bit outside the box. Say, why can't it be us? Why can't it be Colorado? Why can't it be Coach Prime? Thank you. I did forget to mention Warren Sapp. How about bringing in Warren Sapp, huh? How about that? Saying, you know what? I'm going to bring in my friend. It might take a little bit of work to get him in here, but he did it. He finessed it. Warren Sapp's been outstanding. He's been a great addition to this staff. Damian Lewis doesn't get enough credit either, y'all. Just got to say. Damian Lewis, Coach Dancy. I mean, our edge group might be the best position group on our entire team. Coach Dancy. Oh, my gosh. And then Warren Sapp, those three. And you're seeing the types of interest we're getting from guys on the defensive end right now. Sure helps when you got Robert Livingston looking like a young genius out there. Sure helps when you got Coach Dancy, Coach Sapp, Coach Lewis out there. And hey, another thing that I wanted to credit Coach Prime with is that he's not reactionary. I've talked about this on my Broncos channel. Sean Payton is not reactionary. If anything, he's a little too overly patient with certain players and coaches, but usually that ends up benefiting the team in the long run. You got Meeman, Coach Hart last year, right? Coach Flea. I had some issues with Coach Flea, right? I'm like, man, you better get ready to learn FCS. Nah, man. Coach Prime sticks with his guys, and what do we see? Coach Hart is actually elite. That's what we see. Coach Hart's actually elite. We see a much better performance out of the running backs this year, thanks to Coach Flea. Kevin Mathis has the DBs coached up. And so that's what good coaches do. They are patient. They are not reactionary. They stick to their guns. They operate with conviction. I know Coach Prime and this program, they love the media, right? And they do listen to the noise, obviously, to some extent. I mean, how can you not, right? This whole thing's a lot of fun, even with the toxic parts of it. But you hear a lot of stuff. But Coach Prime's like, nah, he operates with conviction. He is sure of himself. And I think that that's one of his most underrated qualities. I think a lot of people just maybe that don't follow this program very closely or Coach Prime very closely is you just might think that, hey, he's a showman, he's a motivator, like all of that stuff. But he's a tactician. He's methodical and purposeful with how he spends his time, with every action, with every statement that he makes. And he's incredibly convicted and self-assured. He has a very strong sense of self, and that permeates throughout the program. And it's why you don't see reactionary moves made, right? I think that's one of his best qualities is, that his patience. And I think that there are times where it's like, okay, maybe he's not patient enough, with certain things, maybe Sean Lewis. But I was surprised that Coach Prime, in retrospect, gave Sean Lewis the bye week to get things right last year. Did not. And then that was the final straw. But I think that he manages those things really, really well. Just like the great coaches that you can think of throughout NFL college football history, none of them are reactionary. Not like that. No, no, no. Yeah, outstanding job by Coach Prime and his staff. Hey, y'all smash that like. I would appreciate it. We got 400 people in here, which is crazy. I'll get to a few more of your comments. Hey, that's right. Facts. Not everything is linear, spoken like a true NBA. Yes, 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 Chris. That's right. And yeah, there's always, with startup world, there's peaks and valleys to this whole thing, right? And you definitely have that. KB82, good to see you, man. It's insane. We had one 4-star quarterback who pulled his commitment, then another 4-star quarterback, his commitment. But it's all good because Juju is on his way. Oh, are you referring to Antoine Hill? Yeah, Antoine Hill. Yeah, this is the right fit. This is going to be the right one. Julian Lewis, I think that, you listen to the interviews that he's done. He operates and kind of gives that same aura to a lot of our great players on the team right now, and Coach Prime himself. Very self-assured, strong sense of self. Regarding the quarterback similarities, with him and Shedeur, Shedeur's not, he's not Cam Newton out there, right? He's not Josh Allen out there. But what he is incredibly bright. He's incredibly accurate. And no matter what type of ball he's throwing, it's incredibly catchable. He throws a beautiful ball, right? And Julian Lewis is that same way. He's a tactician. He throws just a really beautiful ball. He's not going to run for 1,500 yards, anything like that. No, maybe not the fastest. He's not the tallest guy, right? But what he does have is a 5-star brain, 5-star accuracy, and a 5-star commitment and work ethic already towards the sport. So I think that's truly what you're getting right now with Julian Lewis. It's the extension of the family, and that's really what this whole thing is. It's truly a family type atmosphere. They keep this thing a little bit closer knit. Again, this isn't a college football team with 120 guys on it. No, it's just different. Yeah, that's right. On 3, on D's nuts. That's what we're calling it. That's what we're calling them now. They're a joke. Game has changed forever. We're going to win national championships with Coach Prime. That's how good I feel about it. And this class, I think, is going to be remembered as a class that takes Colorado to a new level moving forward. This 2025 class is going to win a national championship. And again, who's to say we can't get there right now? This year, it'd be crazy. But hey, when you got 2 and you got Travis Hunter, you're always going to have a chance. But I do think that we get this offensive line in a place next year to where it truly is a team strength. And right now, it's kind of, yeah. I think it's going to be a strength next year. We're going to have weapons, no doubt about it. I just can't wait, guys. And guys, enjoy this. Eras never last forever. Bama fans, you guys should know that. However long this lasts, don't take it for granted. Enjoy every single moment of it. That's why I try and get on here every day and talk, because it helps remind myself that this thing, you got to cherish them, everything. The fact that you can feel, I can feel elated. I can feel disappointed, frustrated, pissed off. The fact that I'm not, what's the word? I just don't care at all. That's apathy. That's where we were getting there in 2022, was apathy. And I'm so glad I don't have to feel that ever again with where Colorado's going and where Coach Prime is taking us. So it's amazing. Hey, Viral Authority, man, where's Prime has to make all the in-home visits? Again, I can understand it. But again, those people that were so critical because of that, they couldn't see like a different way of doing things. That's what was so odd to me. It's like, why do people seem to care so much? Why do people seem to care so much that he's not doing it a specific way? Do you know who this man is? How long is the Coach Prime contract? Yeah, I think it was 29 million and some change for 5 years. So, I mean, he's got to be getting a new deal. He has to be. We got NIL, so the money's going to be coming for the coach. He's got to be making more than Dan Lanning, because a guy like Dan Lanning would never have had the balls to take a job here. No doubt about it. You got to pay him more than Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning would have never had the stones to take a job like this with the worst team in Power 5 football at the time. He never would have. But yeah, let's have Prime here for a decade. It's a great idea. Cherish this. But I do believe he's going to bring us, to new heights that this program has never seen. And I hope Peggy's around to see it. I hope Peggy is around to see it. I think, hey, Coach Prime signing that contract extension, maybe that'll help her get to like 110, right? It's been done before. And she's still moving around. It could happen. Hey, Just Flow. Appreciate it, man. Really do appreciate it. Guys, I wanted to get a film room out this week on Amari McNeil. The Arizona tape never showed up in my drive for me, man. Or not the Arizona tape, the Utah tape. I really do apologize. But guys, I will be doing more film rooms in the future. And definitely once we get into transfer portal season, it's going to be lit. It's going to be awesome, guys. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get out of here. I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me. Again, I'm going to be back here in 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours, talk with Colin Moore just about this historic day with Colorado. So y'all be sure to smash that like and subscribe and the bell for notifications when we go live. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. As always, Go Buffs.